The 17th century, Europe was drowning in its own nightmare. They called it the 30 Years' War. It wasn't just kings and religions tearing each other apart. No. The real horror wasn't the cannon fire, it was the soldiers. These weren't noble knights or loyal armies. They were mercenaries. Men with empty stomachs and no discipline. No pay, no orders, just desperation. Their survival strategy was simple: plunder or die. Cruelty wasn't a sin anymore, it was a paycheck. And that hunger, that madness, created some of the darkest tortures in human history. Now, it's early 1631. The city of Magdeburg stands tall, a proud Protestant fortress of 25,000 people, the last beacon of hope for Protestant Germany. Outside the walls, the Catholic Imperial Army waits. Count Tilly, General Pappenheim, starving, furious. Inside, the people pray for help. 7 months of siege, hunger, and fear, and then, on May 20th, the walls broke. Imperial troops, red and black, flooded the city like a river. Pappenheim later said, "I lost control of my men the moment they entered. No discipline, no mercy, only rage and greed." Somewhere fires began to spread. No one knows how. But with the wind pushing the flames, Magdeburg became a furnace. People were trapped beneath collapsing roofs. Melting glass rained from above. The air was filled with screams and smoke. In just hours, 90% of the city was burning. The streets glowed red, lit by fire and blood. And the soldiers, they only made it worse. For 4 straight days, the massacre continued. 20,000 out of 25,000 were slaughtered. Men, women, children. It didn't matter. They were stabbed, hanged, burned alive. Some tried to hide in the great Magdeburg Cathedral. But even there, the sounds of hell were everywhere. City Councilman Otto von Guericke later wrote, "The worst moment was when the people had nothing left to give. When the gold was gone, when the jewelry ran out, the soldiers became even more vicious. They beat, tortured, and killed just to find hidden food or a single coin. This wasn't war. It was pure terror." And then came the most infamous torture of them all. The Swedish Drink. Imagine this: a victim tied to the ground, a metal funnel forced into their mouth, and then filth poured in, urine, feces, sometimes boiling water. The stomach swelled like a drum, and then soldiers stomped on it, or pierced it with their spears. It wasn't just killing, it was humiliation, slow and cruel. On May 24th, Count Tilly finally ordered it to stop. But by then, Magdeburg was gone, 20,000 corpses. Only 5,000 survived, broken in body and mind. The stench of death was so strong, Tilly had to move his camp upwind. The survivors were forced to clean up. For 14 days, they gathered the bodies of their families, their neighbors, and threw them into the Elbe River. That was the price of survival. And the news of Magdeburg spread across Europe like wildfire. Even General Pappenheim was horrified. He said, "No more terrible punishment has been seen since the destruction of Jerusalem." For Protestants, it became a symbol, a cry for revenge. They called it the Magdeburg Quarter. And this horror, this tragedy, eventually pushed Europe toward peace. The Peace of Westphalia, signed in 1648, finally ended the nightmare. But here's the question: how does an army commander lose all control of his men? Was it really just hunger? Or was it something darker? Something deep inside human nature itself? Let me know what you think in the comments.